just go off the orientation on my screen here. See that we have, as I call your name, if you could just unmute and let me know who you're representing here today, how you're attached to the project, if at all. I have someone under the name Jamal. Jamal, if you could unmute.
Yeah, that's me. I am. Hang on one second. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. It's a little choppy. Okay.
Oh, we lost him.
let me try who I believe is Miss Estridge, is that right?
Yes, Heather.
Okay. Hi, Heather.
Hi.
Welcome back. Is that by any chance your client?
Jamal is the owner, yes.
Okay, great. Do you know his last name?
Daoud, D-A-O-U-D. So he was listed as one of the witnesses. I don't know if you have that information.
Yep, I do. Great. And are we going to need him in order to go forward with this project, or to go forward with this hearing today? Or are you going to be able to testify?
I should be able to testify.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
If this technology isn't working.
I'll do whatever I can. It just looks like you might have some bad reception or something like that. So you can give it another shot here. Mr. Daoud, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Not very well. It's a little choppy on our end. I can see you're in the car. Perhaps you could try to find an area with better reception, or try to find an area that has Wi-Fi that you could get on. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's Ms. Estridge, let's try to proceed without him. If we feel like at any time there's information that we need to hear from him, we can try to get that out the best we can. But let's see if we can't move forward. It looks like it's going to just keep bringing him in and out of here.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and read through our hearing script so that we can get into this. This is the March 13th, 2024 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. The case before us today is case number ZH20240006. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any potential opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If we did have anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant had presented his case. I'll hear from the zoning plans examiner, Wes Mansell, to add any testimony in addition to his staff report. In the event that any party testifies in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to rebut that testimony and or argument offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. Let's see. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. I may also refuse to consider let's see. I'm sorry. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties, which we are seeing here now, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. All right. So, Mr. Daoud, it looks like you might have a little bit better reception here, but it also looks like you might be driving. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm trying to find a better spot.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I apologize. I had to travel out of town, and that it was unavoidable.
No, that's totally fine, Mr. David. Listen, what we're going to do is we're going to try to proceed without you. If you can get to a spot and get the car in park so that you're not actually operating the vehicle while trying to participate, we'll let you participate. I'll keep you in the hearing for now so that you can listen, but we can't have you participating while you're driving, and I understand you're trying to get to a better location. So once you do that and you're able to park the car, come off mute and we'll let you back in. But until then, we're going to proceed without you, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thanks. All right, so Ms. Estridge, I'm going to go ahead and swear you and Mr. Mansell in now. So if you could raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
Okay, great, fantastic. All right. I know, Ms. Estridge, you were here a couple weeks ago, right?
Yes.
So you're generally familiar with how this works. So I'll turn the floor over to you if you'd like to go ahead and tell me about the project and why I should grant the relief.
Sure. So Mr. Dawood is interested in building additional storage facility on the property that he owns at 4839 Winona Terrace. This would be for boats and RVs. And so for that matter, we need kind of particular turning radiuses to be able to get in and out of the building space. And so we looked at a number of different iterations, and the one that we came up with is the one that we are proposing that allows us to maximize building size and building access while keeping the existing buildings that are on the site, and then also kind of working around an existing access to the site, driveway access. So we're kind of shifting it, but it doesn't impede any of the other existing buildings on the site. What we are requesting is a variance for an additional building, an variance for a front yard setback that would be 0, really at just kind of a corner point of the building. A side setback of 5 feet. And that's really so we can kind of push the building away as much as possible from the front yard and the driveway, and then an expansion of the driveway from 20 feet to 40 feet. The building itself, the proposed building meets all other zoning variances as far as height goes. The intended use is allowed in the zone district, and it is fitting in keeping with other buildings and uses of the neighboring properties.
Okay, great. Let's see, this is a manufacturing zoning district, right?
ML.
Got it. And is the side yard setback, is that would be the setback that is adjacent to the railroad tracks?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. Are these railroad tracks still active? Do you know?
That would be a question for Jamal. I assume that they are.
Okay. Great. All right. And let's see. How tall is the accessory structure planned to be?
Well, if measuring to the midpoint of the sloped roof, it's about 21 feet 8 inches.
All right, I think I'll turn it over to Wes unless there's anything else you wanted to add at this time. No? Okay. Wes?
Good morning. I had a pretty detailed analysis on this one, but a couple highlights to just mention that the shape of the parcel negatively impacts how the rectangularly shaped building would fit onto a parcel that has like non-perpendicular lot lines, so it makes it challenging, creating a hardship. And then the multiple principal structures on a single lot. If you were to just chop up that site into separate parcels for each building, it would get complicated as far as like easements, and access would be complicated or impossible for some of the existing buildings. So the multiple buildings variance allows for that reasonable use of the property. And then, as Heather mentioned, the turning radiuses for backing larger vehicles or boats on a trailer into this new building, kind of impacted how the driveway, worked and required a wider driveway as noted on the site plan. Again, that's also related to the angular, conversion of property lines at the north, that limits the space for turning and backing movements. So kind of those kind of factors led us to conclude that it was, there's hardships and it's a reasonable request for what they're proposing, given the context and other industrial uses in the area. So thanks.
Thank you. All right. Ms. Estridge, anything you'd like to say in response to Wes's comments or anything else in closing or otherwise before we adjourn here today?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I've had a chance to review the application materials and the staff report. Based on the testimony that I've heard here today, I agree that it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code to this particular application. And so I'm going to approve the application. Need to formalize that approval, as you know, Ms. Estridge, in a written decision. I will, as soon as I finish that decision, put it in a PDF and email it to everybody who's in the hearing here today. So you'll have a copy of it really just moments after it's complete. And after that, you can work with Wes on having the zoning officially approved in our system and hopefully move forward.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hope everyone has a wonderful day. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out.